Welcome back, guys. In today's video, I am going to show you guys how I research gold, silver mining stocks and other stocks. And this one I just researched recently, a few days ago, for the private members of MMGinvest. And it is very interesting because the Rothschilds were investing in it, and I'm going to show you guys how I see that and whatnot. Also, the other reason I want to make this video is because, well, I'm up late tonight. It's 2 a.m. the 19th of June, and UTC, that's about 6, right? And tomorrow we have the FOMC minutes, which is the Fed is going to decide if they will cut rates or leave them the same, essentially. Nobody expects them to raise rates. If they raise rates, stock market will likely start crashing. Also, with recent news, Trump, right? He's been touting Jerome Powell, and he's complaining that the European Union, the ECB central bank, is printing money, and so is China, and he wants the US to also print, right? And here we go. Here's the tweet. Mario Draghi just announced more stimulus could come, which immediately dropped the euro against the dollar, making it unfairly easier for them to compete against the USA. They have been getting away with this for years, along with China and others. He also tweeted something else on the lines of, what was it? Oh, if he doesn't get reelected, the economy will implode, which is true. I think if anyone else gets elected, the stock market will sell off. The only reason it's been going up for the past 2 years is because of Trump. Now, I do understand what Trump is trying to do. You have to know the context of what he is trying to do. He is putting America first in a way. He knows that he has to get the trade deficit under control. If he doesn't, the U.S. is really, really, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be very, very bad. It's the end of empires. If he can't fix the trade deficit before the stock market bubble and the economy goes into another recession, because for one, he can't stabilize the dollar. You have to understand, he cannot go to a gold standard, he can't go to a Bitcoin standard or whatever if the trade deficit is negative, because what'll happen is all of the metals, anything backing the dollar, will get looted from the country. Because if you have a negative trade imbalance, what happens is foreign countries will literally take your wealth. They will gut you. I will make a separate video explaining that, but if you think of it as a corporation, right? If you are taking on more debt than making products and your revenue is less than what you are spending, you're going to go broke. Same with a country, okay? And that's what the trade deficit is. So through tariffs, he's waging warfare. The tariffs are not going to fix the trade deficit. The only thing that can fix the trade deficit is deregulation and and less taxes. Of course, he can't do that either because too much of the U.S. economy is dependent on government now. So either way, the U.S. is royally screwed. And so is Europe and China. All countries have done it to themselves. That's what happens when you get high regulations, taxes, and massive government, welfare and warfare, right? It's a parasite until it kills the host. And historically, it's always killed the host, which is the economy and the empire. And what happens is everything just implodes, and then the empire breaks up into smaller pieces, and then you start all over again. And this is where we are historic. Like right now, that's where we are. We're at the last gasp for this major economy. Also, the baby boomers, the demographics, the pensions, the Social Security, all the entitlements are going to go bust with the stock market. At the same time, the largest demographic, the baby boomers, are trying to retire. And there's no industrial jobs for the millennials and everyone else coming up. So, and this is not just the US, it's global. So, this is the most interesting times that we're living in, and it will be change. And the change is going to be extremely painful. And the markets are going one way or the other. I mean, it doesn't matter if the Fed buys stocks and props it up like Japan. The real economy is going to suffer no matter how you look at it. So that takes me into gold and silver. Listen, nobody's paying attention to gold and silver still. Everyone's talking about cryptos and whatnot. I'm more excited about the mining stocks. I'm a contrarian. And when everyone else is looking to the right, you need to be looking to the left, because that's where you're going to get the opportunity. That's how you are early to investing into something before the masses do. When you're looking at something that nobody else is looking at. All right. So tomorrow, I still think the Fed minutes will be positive for gold. If they're not, it's just going to be a quick, well, for a few weeks, gold might pull back to 1,300. The worst case scenario, 1,250, 1,270, 80, somewhere down there. Either way, tomorrow it could break out. And if it breaks out of this giant, it's almost an ascending triangle, right? If it breaks out tomorrow with the Fed minutes, I mean, the golden opportunity, the window is closing to get, cheap gold and silver mining stock shares. Also, for the people who think like you shouldn't be buying stocks, you should only be buying physical, you're not going to get rich off of physical. I'm just being honest with you. Let's say you buy $10,000 worth of gold, right? 1 ounce of gold is it's $1,300, let's say. All right. Let's say let's make the math simple since I'm recording a video. Let's say gold is $1,000 an ounce, right? You buy 10 ounces, $10,000 worth. Gold goes to $3,000 an ounce. Okay, so it went up 200%. So now your $10,000 investment is $30,000. Now you have to adjust it for inflation, because the only reason gold goes up is because of inflation and economic, financial recessions and depressions. So let's say now you have 30. So it went up 200%. You have $30,000 worth now, right? Okay. Well, one, that didn't make you rich, and now you have to consider taxes, and then you have to consider inflation itself, right? Because $30,000 in the future will be worth a lot less than today. So let's say inflation ran up 30%. Okay, well, technically you only have $21,000 in today's purchasing power. So if you invested $10,000 today, gold goes to $3,000. Subtract the inflation, the taxes, you're maybe around like, I don't know, like 18,000 in today's purchasing power in the future. Does that make sense? Think about it. You have to subtract the capital gains. You have to subtract the taxes. I mean, and the inflation. Same goes with stocks if we get a stock market melt up. So if the Fed comes in with QE and starts buying stocks, which is illegal right now, but believe me, they'll change the laws. Or maybe they'll just give the money to the banks, and the banks will buy up the stock market, right? And they'll create a Venezuela-style stock market melt-up. People will think they're getting rich with paper gains with equities, but in the end, I mean, inflation's going to eat away at that in a big way, more than people think, because at that point, the dollar will lose like a decent sized chunk of its purchasing power. Like, who knows? Could be anywhere from 15 to like 70%. I don't know. It'll probably happen within a span of 5 to 10 years. Well, probably not even. I would say 3 to 5 years. Okay, so, and then eventually the stock market can't keep going up either. The Nikkei didn't go up for Japan either, because inflation will actually start destroying the corporations. So there is no way out. There's going to be a reset. They might buy more time with money printing, but there's no way out. Natural forces, the free market, the market has to correct itself. You have to flush out the malinvestment one way or the other. I don't care, they don't want that to happen because they're so scared of the repercussions, which is the end of, like, seriously, corporations and governments, which is actually would be the best thing for the long term, for these generations, not for the baby boomers, right? The baby boomers are trying to keep the party going while they're still alive for the next 10 to 20 years, which is insane, and it's not going to work. All right. So let me show you guys how I research gold, silver stocks. So this is the MMGinvest private group. Real quick, let's scroll through here. So here's the most recent one I have done. This is what it looks like. There's over 200 pages of these stocks that look just like this, right? There's I give it a little bit of a rating, and then there's the spreadsheet. I'll show you that. I'll give you guys just the description of the company, the most recent news events, and all the contact information for the website and whatnot. Okay. And then here's the research. So I'll give you some support and resistance areas on a weekly chart time frame to look for breakouts. Then a pie graph for production profile, resource profile. Production is what's being produced right now. Resources is what's the reserves within the ground that they still know of that they can mine. And usually the deeper they go, the more resources they find, because these are veins in the ground of metal. Then the geographical location, right? That's very important because, during global recessions, a lot of countries will be more dangerous than others. Some might nationalize and whatnot. Executive holdings, if they're selling, buying. Major hedge funds holdings of, these companies. As you can see right here, BlackRock, Fidelity, VanEck. And here's major institutional holdings. BlackRock, which is the largest institutional investor in the world. Bank of Montreal, here we go. Rothschild, Cohen Asset Management, Europe. They're actually the third largest holders of this stock right now, I believe. And I give you guys an operating performance profile, return on asset percentages, gross margin, operating margin, all that. And then also the spreadsheet of all of the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flows. And I color coordinate it, right? Color code it. Green is more positive, and red is not positive, right? I dummy proof this. And you don't need a college degree to understand this. It's all bullshit. You don't really even need to go to college. You just have to research the term. What is net income? What is operating income? Cap spending, free cash flow, and you'll know what that means. And then I color coordinate it, right? Key ratios, profitability, growth of the company. And this is in a span of time from 2010 till current. Balance sheet, financial health, liquidity, finance, efficiency of the company. And I go into detail. The only thing I don't go into detail is the management team, because I just don't have time to do that. Although you guys could look it up on their website and look into them if you want to. By the way, this helps you with your own research. You have to do research about my research to make sure I did it right, because I guarantee you I'm not perfect, right? Also, things change. There could be bad news events. It could be good news events. Some of these mining stocks get bought out. The stock will, double, triple, quadruple. You could get 400% gain right before they buy it out. Or sometimes they buy it out and then you get the shares of the other company that bought out the smaller company, and you'll see a nice 50 to 100% return on investment instantly. And those are nice. Here's what the spreadsheet looks like. There's two spreadsheets. I go from the large cap all the way down to the micro cap, and I'm also adding more micro cap. Now on the spreadsheet, I give you guys a profile of the geographic location, the risk involved with that. I talk about all sorts of things: the resource profile, how much resources they have, how much percentage in gold versus silver do they have in resources within the ground that they haven't mined. And then there's production capacity, right? How much is coming out quarterly from the ground that they could sell. Turnover, there's turnover, right? There's just a lot that goes into this, guys. I also show you guys their all-time high in 2011 when gold went up to 2,000 bucks. And then I show you guys how much it's retraced percentage-wise. And if it went back up to the 2011 all-time high, so if the company survives, it's going to go to the 2011 all-time high and then surpass it. And, you know, some of these, if they actually go back up to their all-time high, you're looking at a 200x return on some of these. You know, 600% return, a 30x return. 30x means 3,000% gains on some of these micros. Now, of course, the micro caps are extremely risky. You know, you don't invest in a lot of those because those mining companies, more than likely, they're either going to get bought out or they go bust. They go bankrupt. So the sooner the gold and silver bull market comes back, the more likelihood that these companies survive and then they return to their 2011 all-time highs and possibly surpassing them by actually a lot. So if gold goes up to like 5,000 an ounce, you're looking at better gains than the altcoins and, you know, these cryptos. And it's more actually guaranteed as well, because these are real securities with real companies with real people doing real things. All right, and central banks are going to go back to some sort of gold silver standard. Maybe it'll include cryptos, I don't know. All right, that's why I do both. Also, when everyone's buying into crypto, that's probably a good time to take profits from crypto, put in metals. When everyone's crowding into metals, it's probably a good time to take profits off of metals and then buy cryptos, right? You want to, you know, diversify and do asset allocations and rotations like that. All right, so that's what the spreadsheets look like. There's a couple spreadsheets. There's going to be 3 soon. All right, so I also, you know, include exploration, production, where it's at. Is there a big producer, or is it just exploration? Exploration just means that they're exploring. They haven't really pulled anything out of the ground and sold. There's also royalty companies. Royalty companies are the best, I think, out of the entire mining sector because you have very little risk and all the upside in the world. Because what they do is they lend money to other gold mining companies, and then they take a percentage cut of their revenue, their sales. And that pretty much covers it. I also give you guys ETFs, right, and other there's other companies that are similar to the mining companies, but they're slightly different, and those are also big opportunities that most people aren't looking at, right? And then the ETFs that are physically backed are the ones I like and I trust and I think have more upside than the other. ETFs are just baskets of a certain asset class, like a bunch of gold and silver mining stocks in one basket, right? Of course, there's mining fees, or of course, there's fees involved with ETFs. All right, so what else did I want to show you guys? I think that's pretty much it. You guys will also get a PDF that's based off of a slideshow, right? Here's Barrick Gold, the largest gold company in the world, and you know, this is what the research looks like. So all you have to do is go to MMGinvest.com. Links are below the video, and there's another. Well, this is going to be the new preview video, and it's pretty much what you get. And then you get a private invite to the MMG Elite group. It's $10 a month. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. And you know, I trade other stocks, like I short and I go long, and lately I've been looking at some IPOs like Zoom. Zoom's, you know, I was very bullish on Zoom, and that did pretty well. And that pretty much covers it for now. Tomorrow's going to be very interesting. I'm going to record that FOMC minutes, and I'm going to give you guys my critique and my personal opinions on it, and we'll take it from there. All right, guys. Listen, I'm looking at I'm looking at pink sheet penny stocks right now, gold, silver, pink sheet penny stocks. Where, you know, I'm gonna try to find like 10 of them or something, and just throw like $50 in each. And this is gambling, okay? This is highly speculative in gambling. It's just that it's worked in the past where I've thrown like a couple $100 in a few of these pink sheet penny mining stocks, and all of a sudden it shoots up and it's worth like a house. All right, so that's what I'm doing tonight. So I wanted to make this video. If you guys found this informative, if you liked it, smash them likes, leave anything in the comment section, give me your opinion, and I will see you next time.